Okay, I think we can start. Our results are available, so we have now the success for this job. We click on it. And so we have our results on the map. Remembering the previous results, I think it's visible that this contour became more compact. So we reduced the power and the contour became smaller. So actually, thanks to the colleague, I think I have to mention, I forgot to mention, now I have to mention that though we show the relief on the map, we are not taking it into account. It's actually the principle of ITU, of BR. We are not allowed to take the relief into account in our calculations. So though it is shown, it's not participating in the calculation. If you don't have any question, I think we can finish here and Saman can start his session. Thank you very much.
Okay, hello again. Before starting this presentation, this session, I just wanted to remind that the presentations, the material are available in the website of the seminar. So in the workshop, you see that there are these items in the order of presentation. So now we are at this item 4, which is notification of broadcasting. So you can download the presentations in a PDF file in case if it is not readable here on this screen, and then follow it on your PC. Okay, now I will run the presentation. In this session, we will focus on creating an electronic notice file for some broadcasting stations. I think we will not have enough time to do more than one exercise, but we will see how it goes. Okay, for creation of the notice files, we have two different categories. One is to modify a plan. Mainly we are talking about a regional plan. For regional plans, the situation is a little bit special. If we want to add or modify a plan entry, we need two notices. It's not done by one notice. So the first notice is that your administration submits the modification or the addition parameters to the BR. Then there is a coordination period. When everything is done, the coordination is successful, then your administration should submit a second notice requesting these changes to be published or to be applied on the plan. So there are two steps. sometimes administrations forget the second step, and the changes remain in a kind of suspended state. To suppress a plan entry, it is done by one notice. So this is just the difference for the plan. Of course, in this region, we only have RJ81 for broadcasting. And the only notice type which is applicable is T04. The frequency band is MF, 1605 to 1705 kilohertz, and it is only for sound broadcasting. The other group of notices relates to the notification for recording the frequency assignments in the MIFR. As we are talking about broadcasting services, so it concerns VHF, UHF bands outside planning area. Here we don't have any planning area for these two bands. The notice type is T01 for analog sound broadcasting, and for digital TV broadcasting, the notice type is T02. Of course, for digital TV, there is one important step that you should always take care of, is that before submitting a notice, the Bureau should have all information about your television system, their bandwidth, the class of emission, and the channeling arrangement. So before submitting a specific notice for television station, make sure that the BR has all these information. Okay. Identifying items for broadcasting stations. This is a special term that we have in the BR, of course, with the administrations. Identifying items. Whenever you want to modify or suppress a frequency assignment, you have to target that. I mean, by giving some data items. The data items that we require for broadcasting stations are frequency plus location. This is one set. In place of these two items, you can give your unique ID which your administration has assigned to that frequency assignment. By using these items, we can find an assignment. For example, if you give the station name, that is not an identifying item. If you give the power, that is not an identifying item. These are the only identifying items for broadcasting services. Okay, now this is our first exercise that we are going to do today. Before that, I have to present the tool that we are going to use during these sessions, starting from now until the end of the day, which is the Terra notices. So I will pause the presentation here, and I will go to this famous screen that we had in the previous session. Okay? If you have this screen open, you can click on Terra notices and run this tool. The other way is that if you have installed the package, you can find Terra notices. This is the name, Terra notices plus, and run it. There are these two ways. When you run the tool, you should see this screen. So anyone has problem running the tool? I think I need to change the resolution of my screen because it's no, it's okay. Okay, so the first time that you open this tool, you will see this screen, which is the first time it will need to know what is your administration. So here you have to choose the administration that you want to go work on it. This is very important because each country may have a different list of applicable notice types, according to the region, if that country is a member of a plan or not, and all those things. So choosing your country will help us to limit the choices to the applicable ones. The only important thing is the default administration. Of course, for every notice, you have the possibility to change it. For example, for this exercise, we are going to change the administration to Cuba. For the next one, we're going to choose another administration. And then you can press OK. After this first step, which only appears once, you will see this screen. In this screen, you see that here, again, we have this new button which allows us to create a notice. Of course, there are also other ways to create notices that we will see later. Okay, we will have a look at this tool when we do the exercise here. Okay, so the exercise is, says that we need to prepare an electronic notice for the frequency of 665 megahertz for a TV broadcasting station, and the country is Cuba. The thing is that it says that we can use a wizard functionality of the tool, which might be interesting for you. So now I go back to Terra Notices. Here, what we do is that we go to the File menu and we select this one, Wizard. Okay? So now it starts asking few questions to guide us through the notification procedure. First, okay, what is the country? What is the administration? In our exercise, it is Cuba. Pay attention here, when we select the country, whatever you select here, something will happen at the bottom of the page. Let's have a look. As soon as I select Cuba, and then here, there are 3 different categories of notices. Either we want to go for the MIF, coordination request, or a plan. In this case, we want to update the MIF. So when I select the first one, you see at the bottom of the page, this is the list of possible candidate notice types, which is long, because it doesn't have enough information. It only knows the country and the type of notice, which is to update the MIF. We click on next. Now here it asks either we want to add something, modify, suppress, withdraw, or what. So in our case, in this exercise, we choose add. The list is getting shorter, but still we have about more than 10 different notices there. Sub-action, is this an assignment or HAPS? It is an assignment. Okay, so the list is shorter again. We click next. Class of a station. So it was a TV station. TV station has the code of BT. Now you see that the list has only 2, T02, T12. Now we need to know the frequency. Frequency is 665, no? Let me just verify again. Yes, it was 665. So now there is only one notice type remaining, and it becomes green. So that is the only choice. Now we click on finish and we continue. When we click on finish, it opens the form for T02 as it is shown in the top right corner. It has already filled some data items here and there, but there are still some remaining. These colored ones are missing. So we need to complete the notice. We look at the information that was shown in the exercise. Okay, it says transmitting antenna site name. Here we put EX, which is exercise, whatever. So here we put, for example, EX01. This is just a name, or any other name you can choose. Then you see the color goes, so it's now white. So this is one item. This was one item missing. The other thing is the location. So we have to type these coordinates there. Okay, coordinates are entered. Then we have the TV system here. This is the list of currently known TV systems. This is the list which should be updated before you notify your television station. So if you don't have your parameters in this list and you want to add a new code here, you need to communicate it before submitting this notice, because otherwise this notice cannot be created because your code is not in the list. So in this exercise, we are going to use an existing code, which is U1. You see, as soon as I select one code, these fields are taken from the reference table, this is the channeling arrangement which is already defined for this code. So these parameters are already entered. Then here we have to put the effective radiated power, which is here. These values are artificial. Huh? These are just some values. There are no technical calculations behind. This is just to show how to use this tool. In real world, you put the real calculated values based on the real situation. Then the antenna is non-directional and the polarization is horizontal. This is already there, so the polarization is H. Antenna is non-directional. Then it is the antenna height is 24 meters. It is here. Then we have, you see, we have one red box here, which is maximum effective height. And if you click here on antenna characteristics, you see that we need to enter this list. This is the effective height of the antenna. So we have to put the value in every 10 degrees. There are two ways. Either you calculate it yourself based on any tool that you have, or we ask this tool to calculate. In this case, we are going to use this tool. You see here, there is a button, calculate using SRTM3. SRTM3 is a map for the whole world, the terrain map, which helps us to calculate the effective height around this antenna. And for this, in order to be able to use this function, we need to know the location of the antenna and the height above ground level. Height above ground level, we have already entered 24 meters. Location is already known. Now we click on that button. You see, now it is, as we click on submit, it takes some time. Do you get the results here? Or it's only my PC? Let me see the link. Is there a problem in the location? Yes, there is in fact, there is a problem in the coordinates. This one is north, it's not south. Okay, now we go to antenna, we calculate, and then you see now here, it calculates the values, and the table is already filled. When I press OK, it fills the table. And when we go back to antenna characteristic, this field is already calculated, which is the maximum effective height. Now we have two more red fields in the top of the screen. One is date of bringing into use. Okay, we can put it, let's say, tomorrow. So we put 7, 8, 26. Now we have this address code here. And you see the list has these two values. What are these values? Let me go quickly to one document. So in the briefing page or in the briefing package, we have a document which is called preface. So when we open this preface, as it was mentioned earlier, it contains several reference tables. Or we can open it from here. Yes, this is the preface. And here we have the table of contents that you see. Yes, in this chapter we have the reference tables. This is the code of administrations. Then here we have class of a station. And you see for this example we used this one because this is for broadcasting station television. There are so many other different codes that we can use for different types of stations. Nature of service, similar. We have different codes. And in section 3 in chapter 4, we have this table, which is a big one. It contains address codes of administrations and the codes of operating agencies. we refer to them as code 12B, which is for the administration, and then we have code 12A, which is for operating agencies. So now let me go to Cuba, which is the case of our example now. Okay. This is the content of our database for this country. So this country has now 2 codes as a responsible administration for frequency assignment. And there are currently 6 operating agencies defined like this. These tables are updated by the administrations. The BR does not take this information from anywhere. And this is the responsibility of every administration to go here, check the content, and notify the Bureau if there are any updates. Okay? For example, to add operating agencies. Probably yesterday, when our space colleagues were presenting the workshop, they have mentioned this operating agency. So whenever you notify something, before that you have to, or sometimes at the same time, you may need to define the operating agency that is responsible for the network. In this case, of the exercise, now we use the code A, which is usually the main authority in every administration. So it seems that everything is fine. Let's try. Up here, okay, now here I need to magnify a little bit. Here we have 2 buttons at the top of the screen. These are floppy disks. I don't know, not so many people remember this thing that we had some years before. This is to save the notice without validation, and the other on the left, which has a green tick mark, does the validation, the basic validation, and then saves the notice. So we use the left one. Okay. You see that there is a warning. It says that offset is missing. For sure it is missing. The offset, which is here, we have to put 0 for this exercise. You see, even the field is not colored, but the tool, when comparing different data items, it says, as this is a digital broadcasting, you need to give the offset value. Now we retry this thing. Validate, save. You see that there is no more, any messages. Here it says where to save it. I just say to save desktop briefing here. So here we say broadcasting sound 01. And I save this. So now the notice is created and saved. We can always have a look at the notice itself, the file. If you right-click on this notice which is there, then we have view generated notice. When you click on that, you see the notice file, which is a text file, of course, with all parameters which are taken from this tool. And here you see that table which we calculated. This is the effective height table. And now the notice is ready to be submitted. Any question up until now? Okay. Before submission, we need to do another step, which is a deep validation. Okay? So, for the validation, if you remember, we have a tool which is called e-validation, and it is a web tool. So this is the address. By using this address, you can validate your notices. In order to log in at this page, you need a TIES account. You can use your TIES account. If you don't have a TIES account or an ITU account, temporarily you can use this account which is created for this seminar. Okay? You can use this account, WRS TER, with this password. After this step, we are going to use WISFAT to submit the notice. For this one, your TIES account may not work. That is why you may need to use this account, which is written here. So let's go to e-validation first. By clicking on this link, which is on the top of the screen, we will be directed to this page. This page, which is for e-validation. Then either I use this code, or we can use the one which was on the screen before. So I will show the password so you can have a look. So this is the account that I'm using for e-validation. Okay? So this is, the password is RRS, all capital, 2026, @ capital A, small m. And then I sign in. Okay. So now we are in e-validation. What we can do, we can click on this new validation. Then here we can upload, click here. You can choose the file. We are going to choose the file that we just created. Which is this one. Okay. Then we click on upload and process. Now the job is created. As you see here, the status is still pending. The file is sent to the server in ITU. It's working on the validation, comparing the content with the content of the database there. Now we go back to validation history, and we can see here the pending tasks. So now we see that three of us have already sent the notices here. So we wait until it is completed. You can always refresh the screen to see because of the distance, so the notice is still ongoing towards Geneva, so it's over the ocean, and so okay. Okay. One notice is finished, one of the colleagues. Second one also, so which is mine. So this is the one that I submitted a few minutes ago. And we see here that it is written validation succeeded. So here, the second level of validation is also okay. In case there are problems, you will see number of errors and then explanations down there. For example, problem is in the power, in the code, or something like that. Then we have to correct and then resubmit for validation. So now that we have done successfully the validation, we can go for submission through VISFAT. Okay. For VISFAT, we need to click on this address. When we click on that address, we will see this page, which is here. And at the bottom of the page, we see the shortcut, here to go to VISFAT. So when we click on that, I have to create another page because it automatically logs me in. Okay. For VISFAT, we usually see this page to do the login. So now I will type WRS ter at ties.itu.int. The password is the same, RS 2026 at AM. So I will show it here. So it is WRS at ties.itu.int. Then password is RS, all capital, 2026 at capital A, small m. When you press OK, we will see this screen. And here we have this choice to say what is the type of the notification that we are going to prepare. Either it is for the MIF or it is for original plan. So we have already chosen the first one. Then at the second step, it asks the type, the article. Is it the coordination request? Is it to a request under Article 11 to update the master register or other things? For our case, it was a TV broadcasting station for the master register. So we choose Article 11. Then in the second page, we need to choose the file. At this point, we can always choose only one file. But as you see here, it is written, okay, you can also attach a zip file, and the size can be 25 megabytes. So this function allows us to submit like thousands of notices at the same time. But we have to make a zip file of all those notices that we create and then submit that. In this case, we have only one notice that is clear. We choose the file, we click on open, it goes to the other side. Okay, the file is already chosen. It is here. Then we have to put a title of it. So here we write test and test T02 notice. Then number of notices, 1. Remark. Here, please write that this is a test, do not process, because our colleagues in ITU will receive it and then they may assume that it is a real one, then they may process it. So this is a test notice. Okay? Then we press next. Here we have the possibility to change this email address to receive the acknowledgement. Because it's a generic email address, you can change this email to your personal one. Of course, the other email cannot be changed because that is linked to the account. But this is only for the acknowledgement of receipt. So here we can put any other email. And then click next. Here there is this functionality that at the same time of notification, you can also request e-validation. This is a new function which is implemented in the VSFAT. But as we have already done the e-validation, we don't select it. We select no, because we have already done that. And we click on submit. So when we submit the request, we will receive exactly the same message in our email that we have put in that screen. This is a kind of, this is not acknowledgement of receipt. This is the confirmation of receipt by WISFAT. The acknowledgement of receipt is when this notice is published in part 1 of the briefing. Any question? Okay, probably we can do another exercise if you agree. Okay, we go to this exercise number 2, which is a sound broadcasting station. The frequency is in another band. And we are going to use another function, which is new notice. We are not going to use wizard. So it will be a little bit more difficult, or let's say more advanced. Because at this point, you should already know which type of notice to use. So now, this is the first question. Which type of notice we can use, or we should use? This is a VHF sound broadcasting assignment. Any ideas? So we use T02 for TV. We use T01 for sound. So T01 for sound broadcasting, T02 for TV broadcasting. Of course, we have T04 also for broadcasting, but that is for MF band. This frequency is not in MF band. Okay, now we go to terror notices. We select this new thing. Now you see when we click on this new, it proposes, it shows the list of possible notice types for each fragment. So the first one is the UHF VHF broadcasting notice. So you see T01, T02 is already there. If we select, for example, FXM notices, we see this list, T11, 12, 13, 14, and so on and so forth. These notices we will talk about this afternoon. Now let's focus on this example that we have today. The country of the notification in the exercise was Argentina. So we have the country here. And we select T01 and press OK. Now you see that it opens an empty form. The only information that we have provided is the country code. Nothing else is there. So now we have to take all information from this table and type in the other one. Okay, location of station, which is the station name, is okay, EX02, country Argentina. Then we have the location, so which is there. We have to type the geographical coordinates, which are mentioned here. West. Then we have south, and then we have 180 kilohertz, the necessary bandwidth. Then we have transmission system is 1. Sound transmission system. Okay, there is a small button just here, so you can see that the parameters of every code for the transmission system for this sound broadcasting station. Now we have to select 1 here. Then the power is 17 in this example, and then we have the assigned frequency. The most important thing is 96.7. 96.7, and okay. Non-directional, horizontal polarization, and 20 meters above ground level, which is here. We put 20 here. It is non-directional, it is horizontal. Again, we have this maximum effective height to be calculated here. So we calculate the maximum effective height in the second page, which is here. We click on calculate. It takes a while, and then we see the result. We press OK, and we go back to the first screen. Okay, here we see that everything is done except one date, which is in the top. Here again, we put the date of tomorrow. Okay. We are done. We can now validate and save. No problems found. So here we put BS2, broadcasting station 2. Okay. It is here. Now we go to validation, new validation. We click here, we upload the file, which is the second one, BS02. We upload and process. So it goes to the list, and now here we are waiting for this to be processed. After that, we go and try to submit this. While it is working, I will just mention something. You see, in the website of the workshop, there are also some presentations which are complementary. They provide extra information. For example, this one is a detailed presentation on VSFAT, especially about that function that you can request to validate the notice. So you can have a look at this. This is an extra piece of information, and later, when you want to use the VSFAT, so you can have the detailed explanations there. So let's see if this validation is done. Yes, it is done. Now we open it and okay. So what has happened? Validation failed. So the problem is that, you see here, instead of 26, I have typed 29 probably. Let's have a look. Yes. I have typed 29. And there is a reference here. You see, here is 1124, which says that the notice cannot be reached earlier than 3 months before the date of bringing into use. So I cannot notify 3 years before. Okay? So this was just a sudden example to show that the validation, how the e-validation can give a failure result. So I have now to go here, correct the date. Instead of 9, I have to put 6, 26. Then we save it. And now I repeat the procedure here. I have to go to new validation, click here, and select this notice BS02, try again, and here we'll see what happens this time. Okay, while it is working on that calculation, let's have a look at some articles. Yeah, so here I will just make it a bit bigger. Here in the under these 4 articles, we have the definitions of these limits, date limits. So the first one, okay, which was applied to the previous example, is the station of terrestrial services, except for those which are referred to here, shall not reach the bureau earlier than 3 months. Then we have 3 other exceptions. Like here is in coordination with the satellite network, they can not reach the bureau earlier than 3 years before. And also we have 2 other items. One is related to HAPS. I mean, both are related to HAPS. So one is then 5 years, the other one 3 years. So these are also the conditions that are checked by e-validation. Okay, let's go back to e-validation to see what happened. Okay, now it should be done. Now with that small correction, the validation succeeded. Okay. Now we can directly go to the VISFAD and submit another one. Create okay, then again here is under RR, it is Article 11, click Next, then here it is a test. Test then we choose the file. I think it's the second one. Number of notices is 1. This is a test notice. Okay, then we click on Next. Again, I change this email. And I click Next. Okay, request validation, no. And then we see that the submission is done. Usually after this step, not for this exercise, but in real world, after this step, we have to check the next brief week, part 1, to see if the assignments, if the notice is received and entered in the process. Any question? Okay, if there is no question, probably we can go to the other exercise to learn about another functionality of Terra notices. Here we are going to create a modify notice. We are going to modify some parameters of an existing assignment in the database. So what we are going to do is that first, we are going to modify something which exists. If you remember, we had the identification elements. So we have to target the assignments that we want to modify. So here we only have, of course, some information. We know that the assignment is recorded in the master register. So we are not going to modify a plan. We are going to modify master register. The assignment has this unique ID, which is very important, and it belongs to the administration of Brazil. We have these 3 items, which are enough for us to locate the assignment. And we are going to use this functionality in the tool. Open a notice from the database. We are not going to use Wizard. We are not going to create a new notice from scratch. We are going to retrieve one notice from the database. Let's go back to Terra notices. Okay. The function that was mentioned in the exercise is here. You go to the new to the file menu, we come in the middle, and it is there. Either you press Control and F keys, Control F, or you just go there, open a notice from the database. When you click on that, we see this screen by which you can define your criteria, what type of assignment, broadcasting, fixed and mobile, which country, what is the notice type, what frequency, if you know the code, and so on and so forth. So in this specific example, we know that it is FMTV. The administration is Brazil, so the code is B. And what else we know about it? Fragment. We know that it was Article 11. It is master register. And the other thing that we know is the unique identifier code given by administration. So the code was a bit big, so I need to copy it from here and paste it here. Okay, let's press OK to see if it can find. Yes. It found the assignment which is in the database. This is a broadcasting station, TV broadcasting station, and the assigned frequency is 503. So we select this, we press OK, and you see what happens. It copies everything from the database. Now we need to do two things. First, we need to change the notice type from add to modify, because we are going to modify something. Look what happens when I click on modify. Now it asks for the target information. Either I need to copy again the code here, or you see a tiny button down there, the blue one. We simply click on this. By clicking on that, it copies the information from the notice which is here. It copies the code, and then we press OK. So what parameters we want to modify? Of course, it is proposed to modify the antenna height to 20, offset to 0, and then calculate this table. So let's see if we can do that. Offset is 0. Height above ground level 20. Antenna characteristics, okay. We need to calculate. Done. We press OK. It is filled, and it should be OK. So for modification, for suppression notices, this part is the most important part. That you target the correct assignment. That is the most important thing. After that, whatever you modify, it is the subject of, it may be subject of further examinations. And for some parameters, if we modify them, then this modification may not be accepted. The thing that we cannot modify here is the frequency. We cannot touch the frequency because every assignment is linked with its frequency. If you change the frequency, it is a completely new assignment. So we have to suppress this and notify a new frequency. But okay, antenna height, you can touch it because this is a physical change in the antenna. Frequency, no. Power is very sensitive. If you increase the power, then you are touching the interference level, you are touching the coverage area, and all those things. So these are very critical. Of course, at the time that you submit your modification notice to the Bureau, we will analyze and we will inform you if it is feasible or not, and then we will stay in touch with you to find a way to apply the modifications. Okay, so now let's finalize this. I will click again on this button, validate and save. Then here I put BS03. Now I will go to do the validation, which is here. New validation. Click here. Open BS03. Upload and process. And then we go back to the validation history to see how it goes. Any questions so far? Still running. So in 5 minutes we will stop and we will go for lunch. So this is the good news, huh? But we should come back at 1:30, please. Because we have shifted half an hour. So in order to finish earlier this evening. Okay, now at least for me is done. And we see that the validation succeeded again for this notice. So we can proceed to the submission stage. So here, web thing, and we click here, create new submission. Okay, again, it is the first item, then we select article 11, we go next. Then, okay, title of the document. Let's say modification notice. Then we choose the file. BS3. Number of notices is 1. Remark. Then we click next. Again, I have to change it. Okay, this notice is also submitted. Everybody okay with up to now? It's done? Okay, thank you very much. See you at 1:30. Buen provecho.